At nagbabalik ang MPL recall. We just took a recap of Week 6. Watched a bit of the highlights of all the matches that went down. And today, we are going to have a few headlines. Ito una, may bagong update sa Blacklist International. And I do know for sure na meron tayong mga agents na nanonood ngayon. So, shoutouts to you guys. What's up? How y'all doing? I guess if you don't know now, you should. Linabas ni Coach Bonchan at ni Wise ang One Punch Man. They swept Omega, both lineups with an Aldous. Okay, relatively the same. And the question here is, first of all, how does it work and why does it work? Paolo, sabi mo, kascrim mo yung Blacklist, and I think it's safe to say, no, na baka nakita nyo to or some version of this prior. Even if not, what are your thoughts on this? How does this Aldous work?
Well, hindi namin nakascrim yung Blacklist like with this strat. We've scrimmed them before. Lalo na nung JNA ako, especially, well, that was like a couple weeks ago, so it's quite some time now. Pero sa Aldous na to, Aldous Jungler, kailangan talaga may taga-peel sa'yo eh. Pag wala kang taga-protect, lalo na for the later stages of the game. And I've actually tried this strat with my team, okay? But instead of having we had Estes and then Diggy para kahit may crowd control yung alaban, wala kang magagawa sa Aldous late game. So I think Omega just got shocked with this pick, honestly, and it is a valid pick. Okay, based on nung try namin nung Sunspark sa scrim namin, it's actually quite good. I was surprised how good it was early game. I thought it was super weak early game, pero nakakapag-objectives pa rin kahit paano, kahit Aldous yung pinik namin. But yeah, you need to have peel. Another thing that you need to have is someone that has wave clear. Okay, Changi, Alice, so you can get to the later stages of the game. Para patagalin yung game lalo. Kung natalo kayo early game, mid game, patagalin mo yung game lalo, mag-wave clear ka lang ng Lord, and then get Aldous to late game. Yun yung win condition nyo, and I think that's what Blacklist were. That's what they were trying to execute.
Okay, well, I did hear somewhere that si Coach Bonchan, ang plano niyo daw is, I wanna see how far I can take this. How much stacks I can get on Wise para kung kaya ko ba talagang mag One Punch Man. But Reptar, we did see on both games na parang iba yung build ng Aldous. The Aldous was like super defensive. Yeah. It was looking like a tank, and it even had a mask. So, do you have any ideas kung bakit ganun yun?
Well, it sort of shares the idea in the sense na kung bakit dati nagbi-build ng defensive item si Brody. Kasi no matter what, mataas na yung damage niya. Kahit isang damage item bigay mo kay Brody, okay na yung damage niya. And then building him sustain would just help keeping him alive. And that's exactly what happened with the Aldous pick here. The mask, on the other hand, based on how they played it, I feel like it was just like extra assurance for one, Wise to handle ganks. He can just pop the encourage buff for himself, so he has a bit more survivability and damage as well. And then pagsama niya sa team fights, kasi siya yung late entry sa team fight, he'll have a source of encourage as well. Kasi most of the time, nakita natin yung Blacklist International doon, dahil malakas nga yung core 4 nila na laging magkakasama, kasi si Wise is on his own world. Yung farm niya, hindi farm ng items, farm ng stacks. There were times where they had to use the encourage buff right away from Oh My Venus so that they can sustain the fight longer kasi disadvantage nga sila. Then Wise would come in, wala kang encourage buff, okay lang, meron akong sarili. So, mas makunat na nga yung Aldous kasi naka-defensive stacks siya, naka-defensive item siya. Masakit yung damage niya kasi may stacks siya. And then, masakit na nga yung damage niya kasi wait, I already said that. But yeah, you guys know where I'm getting at here. Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, extra masakit, all right? Extra masakit. Let's just put it at that. Yeah. And again, it seems like he does have an extra slot for items. So why not give it why don't you give him an item that helps the rest of the team? Again, that extra encourage mask, because he is building up damage through his stack. So amazing use of Aldous from out of left field, legit. Sobrang, it's either scary to think about or inspiring, and I think it did inspire a few of our friends overseas. Speaking of which, we did see Aldous Jungle in MPL SG's Grand Finals. The first game in that best of 5.
Yeah.
Ginamit to ni Evo's Potato to again win this game and the whole series in a sweep. So hindi sumugal ang Evos dito. They understood and they respected what the hero and this very specific pick brought. Now my question to both of you. Let's start with Paolo first. is this a strategy that is easily adapted by other teams? Are we going to see this in the playoffs? Are we going to see this coming weekend or maybe in MSC?
I think so. Napaka-straightforward yung strat niya. Hayaan mo lang mag-farm si Aldous. Protektahan mo siya, bigyan mo siya ng vision. Let him split push. Pinag-usapan nga natin yung roaming mask kanina. So the reason why magro-roaming mask nga si Aldous is, in most cases, pag mid-game na, pwede mo siyang ipag-split push, hayaan mo siyang mag-farm. Doon siya mag-last hit sa lane. Mas marami kang makukuha ng stocks doon sa lane kaysa sa jungle pag wala ka ng masisecure na jungle kasi matagal na mag-spawn yung mga buff, diba? Well, it's not, hindi mas matagal, pero it's the same amount. Pero pag clear mo na, it's better to go in lane so you have more stocks. It's just what I mean. Tapos mag-ulti ka lang para pumasok sa team fight and you're good to go. So that's why it's viable to get mass with Aldous. Okay? But yeah, pretty straightforward. Peel, get the late game, wave clear, and hopefully Aldous can carry your game alone. One punch man nga.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. Now that we're talking about it, again, you're letting it cook. Nakikita ko kung paano siya iba sa mga late game heroes din na parang, people are saying, oh, Bruno, Claude, you give them items, it's good. But it's different to think about it if it's Aldous. Literally, ultihan ka, -1 agad yun, most likely. Especially if he has the stacks, right? Reptar, how about you? You think we're gonna see this more often? Is this something that you can copy and paste into other teams?
Yeah, hopefully the other teams try it out, especially come the playoffs. It would make a very interesting playoffs. It will make things a lot more entertaining because it's always just fun to see it. But yeah, because a lot of teams have already dipped their toes in, of course, trying that their position 5 is a healer, their position 4 is a healer, get the Estes in or the Rafaela in. I think a lot of teams can try it out, and then I agree with Paulo because of the skills that are and the talents of the pro teams that we have here. They'll be able to not exactly copy the way how Blacklist played it, pero makakagawa sila ng sariling version nila that would fit their team. As long as you have a good tank, a good support in terms of the picks, in a core 4 na kahit wala yung Aldous can fight really well. And I've seen teams pull off strategies like that anyway, especially when teams go for the double marksman lineup or early on. They tried that out. I think it's something that teams should definitely try, and I hope we see more of because it's just fun to cast.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, now you put it that way, parang ako rin gusto ko na rin makita. Shoutouts here to Chester again. Zilong, Layla, and Sun might make an appearance. Some of them, I will not disclose. Baka makita nga talaga natin. Can confirm na may malakas dyan. Merong pwedeng gamitin dyan. But moving on, again, just looking forward to what Blacklist might bring out again. Let's talk about another team in Group B. And this team is also actually shaking up what the playoffs might look like. And if not threatening an elimination, at least will secure their own slot in the playoffs. I'm talking about NXP. Alright? This weekend, nagpakita ang NXP ng next level nila. The next level for NXP. They won all their series this weekend. And yes, TBH, nag 3 games yon, pero pinapakita nila na kahit mahirap na or even if it comes down the wire, they will still win it. And I don't know if you guys saw the memes, medyo nagra-ramp up sila eh. Pre-season, sakto lang, and then early on, they got few strong wins. Mid-season, yan na. Are we bound to see a crazy strong NXP in the playoffs? Paolo, what's your take?
Para sa akin, nahanap na nila yung identity nila. Okay, para sa akin. Kasi kung ikukumpara mo sila sa early season, they were really trying to imitate what Blacklist was doing. Yung may support na peel type of meta na draft, 'di ba? And si Doggy kasi alam ko kung anong klaseng coach siya eh. Gusto niya yung kung ano yung meta, kung ano yung pinakamalakas ngayon, yun yung try niyang gawin. So, but yeah, recently I think he's been giving his players more freedom to pick their heroes that they're comfortable with. For example, si Yahweh, 'di ba? Ay, kinakatakutan na yung akay niya. Banworthy nga yung akay niya eh. Dati nung first few weeks, di pa siya pinipili. Kasi Doggy wants to stick to the meta. Pero pag binigyan mo ng playstyle o yung hero na katapat ng playstyle ng player mo, he will excel. And Yawi really showed how good he is with that Akai. Pati ako, I mean, I will if I'm against NXP, I'm banning Akai, man. He's so good. So good with that.
Yeah, so I guess meron ding parang getting to know yourself and the league better. So I guess we can chalk that up to NXP's progress. Reptar, ikaw, are we bound to see a stronger NXP in the playoffs?
We're already seeing a much stronger NXP this time around. And dahil nga sinabi ni Paolo Expert, and I agree with you, man, that they did find their identity, and that's something that for the longest time NXP felt like they were lacking. Kasi yun nga, they were trying so many different things until the past 2 or 3 weeks. They were like, okay, bigyan natin ng si Exort ng burst type, bigyan natin si Yawi na mobile, can really set up plays really well, his comfort picks, and then we'll play around that. And then the rest of the squad just upped it up a notch in terms of what they do best. James in team fights, man, tunnel vision siya lagi sa backline. Sobrang disruptive niya sa team fights. And teams find it quite difficult to deal with James in team fights. Renegade, role player at its the absolute core. Grabe, Renegade can just be, kung anong kailangan mo gawin ni Renegade, gagawin niya. Split push ka lang ng split push, gagawin niya. Play safe ka lang, farm up ka lang, we're gonna do our best, kaming apat, basta makahabol ka, then lalaban tayo, gagawin yun ni Renegade. And for the longest time, we have been saying that NXP have a high potential ceiling. Even early on, we've praised them for the improvements that they've shown, and it's just really nice to see that this group have found what's been missing this entire time, and they're gonna be an absolute joy to watch the playoffs.
Yeah, nabanggit nyo na eh, Paolo, Reptar. We talked about all the players, right? You mentioned literally all the players. And that's what's so cool about NXP is they all have potentials to become MVPs in their own right. Pero yung huling binanggit ni Reptar, parang yun ang gusto kong i-focus for this headline. I want to talk about Renegade Bacarse, or as he's better known these days as Renechange. Whoever the hell brought this up, sino man yung unang nagsabi ng Renechange, mabuhay ka, sana hindi ka mamatay, Lods. As you all know, Renegade is such a big personality in the ML community, and it's not a secret that he's been going through a lot, both in the Aether house, and I think he spent quite a bit of time sa sarili nilang bahay. Umuwi muna si Renegade para mapagpahinga, both physically, emotionally. But again, I think the reason why they've been winning also is because of Renegade, and this brings up the old adage of pressure builds diamonds. Diba? Parang pag yung isang malupit na tao, binigyan mo ng maraming pagsusubok, pag lumabas siya sa kabilang side, sobrang lakas niya. And I think that's what's happening to Renechange. He's going through a Renechange. So, let's talk about what makes Renegade so strong and why he's such a role player. Nabanggit mo, Reptar, na parang pag binigyan mo siya ng role, pag binigyan mo siya ng kailangan gawin, kaya niyang gawin. Paolo, how about you? What do you see in Renegade?
Well, sa ngayon, obviously, marami siyang pinagdadaanan. So, I think he really matured as a player. Okay, really matured as a player. And we all know na umuwi nga siya, saan kasi siya, Batangas ba yun? Either Batangas or Bulacan, somewhere there. But he just went home. So, considering na naglalaro sila ng parang apat lang sila, tapos si Renegade nasa call lang. That's still a hard thing to do. So we need to consider that as well, di ba? Apat lang silang nasa bootcamp, tapos si Renegade nasa bahay niya, and they still did good. And you know what's funny? Based on my sources, kung naalala niyo yung backdoor nila, it was H2 and Renegade, right? That did the backdoor.
Yeah.
It was actually, I think it was actually Renegade. Based on my sources, si Renegade yung nag-shot call nun. So the one that was not in the bootcamp was the one that shot called that. Okay, based on my sources lang. Okay, but yeah, it was a collaboration between Renegade and H2 who made that call. So super well played. But yeah, really matured as a player, and I think he's been giving mo yung comfort picks niya. Binibigay na ni Doggy sa kanya. He's been playing a couple of hard-hits, nagchange nga siya, and he's playing consistently now. No like how do you say this? No risky plays katulad ng dating Renegade. Talagang disiplinado Disiplinado. Di na rin maingay sa social media recently. But he's still getting a lot of, fans. Yeah, he's getting a lot of followers. Every time I check his page, milestone na naman. Kahit hindi na siya masyado maingay sa social media. So yeah, really respect this guy. Really respect this guy.
Yeah, no, same here. Like Renegade 2020, I could care less, honestly. Like, yeah, sure, he's a star player of NXP, but there's nothing about him that pulls me to him. Pero this time around, watching him play, knowing what's going on in the background, and lalo na ngayon, Paolo, nakakwento mo na siya pala nag-shot call nung segue. Like, wow, ridiculous. Reptar, I have a question to ask you. Feeling ko lang, I don't know if you agree. that shot call could not have happened or might have not happened kung magkasama siya sa bootcamp. Di ba? Parang it's only something that you will really feel and think about when you're in isolation. Kasi kapag lahat ka na sa kwarto and you're feeling the same energy, sige, push nyo, all mid, or like, go Lord. Di ba? Like, maybe it takes a mind out of the box para sabihin, wait lang di ba? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, that is a definite possibility talaga. And again, gets ko na kung bakit matagal na sinasabi lagi ni Doggy na si Renji ang pinakamalakas na mag-ML. And it doesn't always reflect, but I feel like a pro player or players in general in ML, you can really gather or understand their strengths based on how well they adjust to their team. Baka sinasabi ko lang yun kasi most of the time nasa solo ako and umay na ako sa mga hindi nag-a-adjust. Pero yeah, this man just knows how to adjust to whatever situation kung ano kailangan ng team niya. And grabe, I didn't know that. Baka mo sa si Renji pala nag-shot call noon. During nung nag-split push sila. Like if that is true, then grabe, not being in the boot camp, again, out of the box thinking. Yeah, I could see why that's a possibility that if he was in the boot camp, maybe that play wouldn't happen. Maybe.
Yep. Guys, kami dito sa MPL Recall, we are now believers in Rena change. So kung kayo rin, hopefully we have helped change your mind. Again, this young man is more than just his TikToks, more than just his content. Isa siyang malupit na atleta sa MPL, alright? We are gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about a couple more headlines and then we'll be debuting our new segment. So there's more to come here on MPL Recall. Kami magbabalik, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving us a like and subscribe to the channel. You can find us on Facebook via the link in the description. Thanks.